Fleetside Ultimate GPS Software presents Logistics, used by anyone that needs to complete an important task. The system uses integrate GPS and video along with Logistics mobile app to control all stages of delivery and field services. Load files directly into system, create routes, and communicate with drivers. Adjust dates and time. Control what task is performed or what the job that needs completing is. Keep control with detailed reports and always be in total control. Stream live video or go back and view live video from anywhere, anytime. The service allows to perform a wide range of tasks in the area of logistics and delivery, transportation arrangements, transportation processes, optimization, and cost savings. Logistics comprise web version for dispatchers and mobile application for drivers. Let Fleetside help you streamline the process through order placement, route optimization, and delivery process. Always keep your route on hand, send status to confirm or reject a fact of delivery, leave comments to ensure yourself. If you're interested in learning how, please watch the rest of this video or contact your sales account manager at Fleetside.
Already opened the application, but when you open it for the first time, you will see the following page. It says easy to start. It actually has it actually shows 4 major steps you need to follow to use this application. We first need to create an order, at least one, of course. Then we need to distribute orders among the units. Then we can check how a unit goes through the route, how a driver delivers items, and finally, on the last step, we can generate reports, either here in the web interface of this application or in the main interface of the monitoring page. So let's get back to the web interface of the app and try to create at least one order. We have several options to create them. First of all, we can do it manually, one by one, or we can import them from a file. I will try to cover both of these options. So let's try to add at least one order manually. I will try to zoom out the map so I can see this beautiful city of Warsaw. I know it sounds pretty interesting, but still, so I just click on the map, and by clicking on the map, I can add an address for this order. Hold a second, please. Okay, we've received some notes in the chat that some of you cannot hear me. I will try to speak up, but the microphone is pretty close to me actually, so you should hear. Try to make your speakers louder or use headphones, something like that. Let's get back to the orders. Once again, we have possibility to add them manually, and what we actually need to add in the first place is the address. We can do it from the map by just double-clicking on the map at any possible place, or we can use the search field. By default, it's empty, and when you just click on this empty field, you will be provided with a list of the geofences from your account. So you can scroll through all the geofences, find the one you're looking for, and add it as an address. Or you can, of course, use the address field as a search field. You just input the address to this field, and then either click enter or just select from the provided from the drop-down list. And here you will see the checkpoint on the map. Of course, you can change the position a little bit if you want or if you need. And one of our new features that was added into this update, we have added country and city areas. So actually you can tell the system where to search addresses, because let's say this address, for example, maybe not only in Poland, if we do it like this, but maybe it will be also somewhere else in another country. So now we can actually add filtration by a city or by a country to make the search faster and more precise. This is a nice feature, and I think it will be used by all our clients. So pay attention at this new feature and use it in your for your needs. So we have added the address finally, and we need to, of course, add order name. This is what we require actually. Let's add something like this. Oh, maybe like that. A bottle of milk, pretty simple. Then we can change other settings like cost, weight of this item, volume it takes in the vehicle itself, how much time we will need to unload this item from a vehicle. We can add some tags and, of course, comments. Almost all you see here will be visible to a driver through the mobile application. So once again, if you're going to use mobile application, do not forget about drivers. Let's add at least anything here. Let's say this milk is pretty pricey, so it will cost $10. And let's add weight of 1 kilo, for example, and it will take around 1 cubic meter in my vehicle. I can, of course, change the radius of the checkpoint itself, and whenever a unit enters this radius, we will detect a visit, and basically it means that a unit or a delivery was done successfully. So be careful with the radius, make it maybe a little bit bigger if you need to. Make sure the coordinates will be received from within this area, or vice versa, make it smaller if you want to receive precise data. So we have added some additional information, some details like weight and volume. We can proceed and add delivery time. Let's say this item should be delivered actually today. So I just need to change the time. Let's make it like this, maybe not 15 but 16, maybe 38, like that. So we have changed the delivery time, and we can proceed further, add some tags. So for example, we will add one tag, it is definitely food. Then we will add some more tags, it is milk. So now we have 2 tags, and they will help us to search for the orders in the list of orders. We can also change the type of an order, either use single or permanent. Single means this order will be delivered once and then will be transferred to history. Permanent means we will have a possibility to deliver this over and over again. but I'm going to use, of course, single. And by the way, this is also one of the features. Maybe some of you know about it, maybe not all of you are familiar with the logistics application. Therefore, I'm pointing it out that we have added these two options to make sure you can deliver something on the regular basis. This use permanent option. So we have added text, some more details, and of course we can attach some files if you need to. For example, a receipt can be attached to this order and it will be available and visible to a driver through the mobile application. Let's say we'll add an Excel file like this. Here it is as CSV. And it will be also visible to a driver. Then we can add the client's information, add his name, add his phone number to make sure that our driver can call him in case of any issues or any troubles, if he's stuck in the traffic or something like this. So we can add the phone number, and a driver will be able to contact this person. Plus, we can, of course, enable notifications by enabling these two fields. Let's say I will add also the email. By enabling these two options and adding a phone number and an email, we will be able to send notifications about upcoming deliveries. I'm not going to do it because I just don't have this email. And the phone number is, of course, not correct. So I will disable these options for the presentation, but I will leave this information in this order. Basically, this is all we can add here. We can save and proceed to the next step, or we can save and continue adding new orders manually. I will save and try to add orders from a file. But before this, I need to show you the file itself. I have a couple of them over here at my computer, but I'm going to use that one, orders.pl. So this is how it looks like. It's not fixed. The format is not fixed, definitely. You have freedom to choose what should be in the first column, what should be in the second, and etc. The only thing you need to know about is that we require at least following 3 columns to be in this file: address, delivery time from, and delivery time to. So this is what we require to be in the file you import to the logistics application. Everything else can be skipped. But beside the address and beside the delivery time, you of course see cost, weight, volume, phone number, client's name, email, priority, by the way, and some tags. Also pay attention. To add multiple tags, you need to use the following sign. I'm not going to save it, I'm just going to import it. So click import, then attach a file, add orders.pl. Okay, so I finally attached the file. Sorry for some delay. I think there was internet connection was a little bit not stable. So I have imported the file, and here this is how it looks like. I can of course use a template that I have saved previously, but I want to show you how you can create the template yourself. So click import a file, and the system suggests you to choose addresses first, then time of the delivery. Let's try to choose first addresses. and then delivery time. Here you can see that as the format of the file is not fixed, you have a possibility, or a user has a freedom to tell the system what kind of information is shown in each of these columns. So we just add order name here, addresses, time from, time to, then let's add cost. We can add weight, for example, and then add volume. And finally, maybe also vehicle type. Other information will be skipped, maybe tags also, add tags. Oh no, this is priority. And finally, tags. And as the first line does not have any useful information, it does not contain any addresses, no delivery time, no order name, etc., I can just skip it, exclude it from the results, from the final results, and now I see on the map only orders that I want to deliver, or my units need to deliver. To create a template or to skip this part when you choose columns every time when you import a file, you can just create a template by clicking on this nice icon over here, add a template, give it a name, and the next time when you will be importing a file containing orders, you just will be selecting the template, and it will be done automatically. So now we can save the orders, and the system automatically jumps to the next step, which is planning. One of the most important steps, by the way. Here you can manage your orders, you can assign them to units and build routes. What are the options here in the planning step? First of all, you have possibility to use filtration, to choose single orders or to choose permanent orders. I have a lot of permanent orders, as far as you can see, but I'm going to use single. Then we can, of course, choose filtration by date of the delivery. Let's see if I have any outdated deliveries. So I just click on the current day and then go backward to the 1st of November. And I can see that I have 15 orders in total. It means that I have some orders that were not distributed, were not assigned to units for some reason. Now they are outdated, I cannot use them. I'll show them. They have a special icon over here of an exclamation mark. And you can, of course, edit them, you can delete them, but you cannot distribute them to any units. So be careful with that. Let's get back to the current date and see only relevant orders. Next, we can choose a warehouse. A warehouse is actually a place on a map where a unit should go first, collect the goods, and then go to the clients and make delivery. Here it is shown by using a special icon of a tiny house. So my warehouse is over here. And I can have multiple warehouses. You can add them in the settings. We'll cover this question a little bit later. So I have selected Tesco store, and now I can use some more features of the warehouse. I can, for example, select delivery areas. You can see them over here marked with different colors on the map. I have created these geofences, these areas, in the main interface, in the monitor interface, and now I can use them for the filtration purposes. Have a look at some of the orders on the map. For example, this order, pizza. It is in the blue area, but some of the orders, like that one, a TV, is not in the delivery areas at all. So I can actually tell the system that I want to see or distribute only those orders that are inside of the delivery areas. For this, I just select warehouses parameters, geofences. And now I can see only 2 of them. All others are outside of the delivery areas. We can do the same with the tags, though I do not have any tags attached to this warehouse particular, but I have a couple of tags added to the orders themselves. Remember, I have selected a column with the tags when I was importing new orders from a file. So now I have all of them here. It says burger, food, with a lowercase and then milk. And I can actually filter all these orders and to just see only burgers. Here is the order which has tag burger. Or I want to see, for example, food. Again, burger. Let's use 2 tags for the food. And now we can see milk and burger. Everything else is not food, definitely. So as far as you can see, if you're working with a big list of orders, you can actually use filtration by delivery areas or by tags. And you can attach tags either to a warehouse or to an order. And then it of course makes your search faster. If you want to just use search by an order name, here's the field. By the way, this is also one of the new features. You just input the name and you will see all orders containing these words. So now we can finally select all the orders and proceed to the second step, which is units selection. Click next. And here we have a possibility to see all of the units. Or remember, I have selected, when importing orders, I have selected vehicle type column. So now the system automatically finds all the units that have corresponding vehicle types. So it finds all the cars and all the vans and shows me the list of these units only. If I want to disable this filtration, I can go to the settings and change to the option any. Now I can see all of the units. And here I can, by the way, use warehouse again. I can attach units to a warehouse and then use it to filter my list of units. So by just clicking on the warehouse parameters and enabling units option, I can see only 5 of them that are actually linked to this particular warehouse. So again, as far as you can see, you have 2 options, to use filtration by a warehouse or to use filtration by a vehicle type. And filtration by vehicle type works automatically if you have added this information in the profile and in the order itself, in the order details itself. Now we can select all of these units, for example, and proceed to the final step, which is distribution or building of the routes. Distribute. So now we can see that actually only 1 unit was used and the route was built. And the route was built on the map and is shown, presented like this. Plus, the system tries to warn us about something. It tries to pay our attention at some issues like there is not enough time to deliver burgers and then go to this place to deliver sushi. So it's too far away maybe, and the unit won't be able to reach this place in time. Then we can see the system warns about carrying capacity limits. So it just says that we do not have enough space in the vehicle to carry that much of items. And we can use this feature to automatically let the system distribute orders to all other empty units. Because now it uses only one car, it warns us about something, but still all other cars were not used. If you have actually noticed, on the second step I have selected 5 of them, but at the third step only one car was used. And you have a possibility to set up settings of the distribution. They actually are called route validity parameters. So you can tell the system that it should take into account carrying capacity, effective capacity of your units, and distribute orders evenly among all available units. So let's try to use these 2 options. Apply. And we can see now 4 units were used. Though in one of these routes it still says not enough time. But now we do not have any warning messages about the weight or about the volume. We can, of course, make the validity parameters, make the settings more complicated. We can tell the system to avoid any idling between the orders, between the deliveries. We can tell the system to build short routes of, let's say, not like this of course, but let's say 5 kilometers and no longer than 30 minutes in total. We can take into account carrying effective capacity. We can tell the system that every single unit can carry no more than 2 items at a time. For example, these features, these route validity parameters, as well as some other distribution optimization and actions, they were also added not so long ago for those maybe who discovered the logistics application and a year ago or a year and a half, and saw the first version. They know that these options were not in the first version. They were missing actually in the first version. Now we have them, and they of course make a distribution and optimization much faster and much easier. We have also added some in the latest update. We have added the most maybe valuable feature. Routing is now available by Google Maps. So now we have a possibility to choose between Google Maps, or without routing, of course. And in my example, this is what I was using actually. All the routes were built by Google Maps. And I have possibility to also change the travel mode like in the Google Maps, driving, walking, bicycling. Plus I have possibility to switch between 2 modes, traffic or without traffic, with or without traffic, if you need to. I think it's a nice feature, and if you will have any questions, we'll discuss them afterward about this feature. But let's at least try to see any difference or to spot any difference between the routes built by Google Maps and built by Google Maps, for example. So I will now switch all the options off because I want to use only one unit, and first build a route using, of course, a warehouse. I want to add more points to the route, so add Tesco store as the initial checkpoint and the final checkpoint. Apply it, and now we can see. Okay, just a second. I need to recalculate it. So now we can see it contains a Tesco store finally, and this is how it. This is how it looks like on the map. And it says 40 kilometers, estimated mileage is 40 kilometers. Let's try to compare it to the Google Maps. Okay, I need to once again recalculate everything. And it says, by the way, 34 kilometers. So in this example, the route is shorter when using GURTA maps. And I think you can spot the difference. The Google Maps suggested to go over this highway or whatever it is, over this road, while GURTA Maps make it a little bit shorter. It happened like this. I was not expecting that GURTA Maps will be showing a shorter route, of course. So as far as you can see, you have now nice features to optimize your route, to use validity parameters, and now you have possibility to choose between GURTA and Google Maps as well. By the way, you can also use Google Maps not only for the route build, for the route optimization, but also for the address search. So pay attention to this new feature. Once we finally added all the checkpoints, all the orders to this delivery car, we can save it. That I'm not going to do it for this car. I want to use another. So I will get back to the second step and choose only one car, which is a delivery car number 4, because it has a driver, David. So I'll distribute everything for this one car. I will not pay attention to any warning messages. I will just save it. And you can see some notifications received. The route was saved. The route was created. These are the notifications for a dispatcher. You can check them over here at the left top corner. There is a sound also played when a notification is received. And finally, we can go to the routes. Next step is to check how our unit is actually passes through the route itself. Here we can see 3 filters to see on the active routes that are actually in the process, to see routes that are planned. I do not have any of them, and fulfilled routes. I have only 2 active routes, and that is actually enough for the presentation, I believe. For example, this is the same car, delivery car number 5, and it is pretty much the same route. On the map, we can see the planned route, which was built by our system and by logistics application. And we have also added a nice feature to see actual route. Just click on this button and you will see actual route. And I think you can spot the difference right away. For example, over here. So this unit definitely got off the route at some point. We can, of course, see some of the orders were skipped, were actually missed. And the system also places a marker on them, like exclamation marker, just to tell us that it was missed. And maybe a dispatcher need to call a driver and ask what happened. And if the driver tells us that he was there, we can check the actual route, and he wasn't there. So maybe some other actions are required. But this is an old route. It was actually for today, but still it's an old route. You can see some of the checkpoints were visited, some of them were skipped. The unit is actually working at the moment. But let's see what we have in this new route. The first checkpoint, which is a warehouse, was already visited, plus 57 minutes, so I was too early and visited this checkpoint too early. Now the system will follow all other checkpoints and wait for a unit to send GPS data from the areas of these orders, from these small geofences or checkpoints. Another option in case a GPS connection was lost or GSM connection was lost, it doesn't matter actually, and your driver has a proof that he was there and made a delivery, you can confirm it from the web interface. So you can just click on the order itself, click confirm, and add a comment. I was not so fast, so let's confirm the second one. Okay. And this particular order will be marked as delivered and will get a special status, confirmed. It wasn't visited, but still, we think that delivery was done successfully. We can do pretty much the same from the interface of the mobile application. Let's have a look at this. So first of all, we can see the notifications were received for that the route was created, and the driver can just tap on them and jump to the mobile application right away. And here we can see the route itself, how it looks like in the mobile application. We also updated it recently, so now it looks a little bit more, how to say it, cozy, and we can see some nice icons that make it a little bit more clear to understand what kind of information we have in this or that order, and if it was actually confirmed or not, if it was visited or not. So here we see the full list of orders created by a dispatcher, and we can confirm some of them from the mobile application. So let's try to do it. Just tap on the order, then tap again. And by the way, here is the option to call this client. And here is the attached file, so I can check it from my side if I need to. But there are two buttons, reject and confirm. Let's try to confirm something from here. I will just add some comments once again, just leave something like this, okay. And then attach a signature of a client, maybe like this. So we have a nice happy face over here, and we can send it to a dispatcher, attach it to this order, and it will be also confirmed from the mobile application if we need to. Another nice feature is to go to the map, and when a driver wants to actually launch a navigation application, if he has any installed on his mobile phone, he can just tap on the checkpoint, wait for a second, and he will be provided with a list of navigation applications installed at his mobile phone. Like this example, I have Google Maps and Waze Maps, of course. Then it will be using current location of a unit, of course, and it will guide a driver to the final destination point. So as far as you can see, some nice features over here in the mobile application. Plus, we can chat with the, of course, with the dispatcher, say hello to him, or say that we have some kind of issues. Let's say flat tire. And send it. Make a picture. Send it to a dispatcher, and this dispatcher receives a chat message. Sound is also played, and we can check it in the chat. So he has a flat tire. We can send him something like this, confirmed, and then call customers to let them know that there will be a delay because of some issues with the vehicle. So let's get back to route itself. Once we, or not we, a unit passed through all the checkpoints, everything was confirmed or simply visited, such a route will be sent to a history. Let's try to close everything manually. Though it passed through some of the checkpoints, the unit was actually there. We received GPS data, but some of them were skipped. So I need to just confirm it from my side to send this route to the history and then execute a report. Now it's in the fulfilled as far as you can see, and I can send it to the history, or I can print it out like that, for example, to see when it was actually visited. Here is the actual visit time. I can export it to the Excel file, PDF file, or once again move to the history. Let's move it to the history and jump back to the active route. If you forgot to add some orders and you want to add it, you have such a possibility. There is a nice new feature that allows you to edit current route. Here is the button. You just click on the route itself and then click on the button to add new orders. I need to add at least one. Let's try to do it. Here's the Poland. Just a second. So just randomly we'll add new order like this. Just click OK and jump back to the routes. And we'll try to add it to the current route. So now just click and everything will be recalculated on the go, considering of course the checkpoints that were already visited. Click Save. Now the route will be updated and sent again to the driver, and we can of course will be able to see new orders over here, but I'm not going to add it to this current route. Let it live like this. So finally, when we have finished the route and moved it to the history, we can proceed to the reports. We can also run reports to see on the visited checkpoints or fulfilled or rejected, etc. But I'm just going to add everything to my report, choose my car, which was delivery car number 5, choose the delivery date like this, and click Execute to see the details. At the top we see statistics, which is a very nice feature. It shows percentage of how many orders were rejected, how many orders were fulfilled on time, how many orders were skipped, and etc. At the bottom we see the second part of this report with the details when each of these checkpoints were visited exactly and what was the status, like confirmed, confirmed, confirmed. And if there are any items, if there are any pictures were attached or signatures, we will also see them here in the column files. So these are the reports. You can also export them to a PDF file, to an Excel file, or print them out right away from the web interface of the application itself, which is a very convenient option. It looks like this. And we can finally jump to the settings. This is basically all about the main features, but now we'll discuss a little bit the settings. Here you have a possibility to choose between the map providers. We can choose Google Maps. In my case, I also have Yandex Maps, if you know it. And it will be used to search addresses. Whenever you import files from a file or create them manually, this option will be used as a search address provider. Then we can of course change the costs units, the measurement units for the effective capacity, make some default settings, but this is not the point. We can also change the planning settings by default. Once again, make Google, for example, as the default routing provider, change the travel mode by default, tell the system that we need to take into account carrying capacity and effective capacity, and etc. And then save the settings to let the system use them by default all the time. And in the warehouse tab, we have a possibility to create warehouses. This is how it looks like. you just place a marker on the map and then attach geofences if you want, or attach units to let the system know that these particular units are working with the task store. Finally, notifications. Some new features here were added also, like for example email settings. You can now click on this button and add HTML code to make your email notification look more professional, more nice and professional. So here's the code. It's just an example I have found at the internet, and here's the preview how it looks like in let's say real life. So it says sushi delivery. Here I have added total cost, type of the sushi, total weight, some useful details like what is the number I need to call if anything happens, and some advertisements. You need to check this new application. So it's a new feature that have been added in the new version of the application, and you can use it, of course, for your needs. Plus, we can use notifications to notify a driver or a dispatcher that something happened at the route. Maybe we've skipped some of the orders, so here's the notification, missing order. A driver forgot to add status, no confirmation, no rejection for already 5 minutes. A dispatcher will be receiving a notification and will call this driver and clarify what happened. Any route changes can be controlled. Deviation from a route can be also controlled. In my case, I'm using deviation by 300 meters. Whenever a unit goes off the road by 300 meters, I receive a notification. And some other useful notifications. If you will have any suggestions on what else should be added, we are always open, and you can send your suggestions to a special email.
info@fleetside.com, or go to www.fleetside.com. This includes our presentation on logistics. We look forward to hearing from you, answering any questions, and thank you for watching.